I'm one of those investors who likes to always have money working for me. You have to figure out what your strategy is and what kind of investor you are in order to know what works for you. Never sell when something is down. When the crypto market is down, it's going to go back up. When the stock market is down, it's going to go back up. When real estate is down, because I have a lot of people who say to me, oh, real estate, that's so, you can lose money in real estate. The only way you can lose money in real estate is if you sell when the market goes down. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. Anytime that you have finances, right? So when you're making money, this is money that you're working for. If you said to me, okay, I have like $1,000, right? You have a savings account and you have a checking account. And then really what we want to do is we want to have investments, right? So these investments could be a lot of things. Real estate, could be stocks, could be crypto. What other things can you invest in? Businesses, right? You could own a share of a business. Art. It's another asset you can invest in. But we're going to focus really right on these three. Really, real estate is the number one thing that I invest in. When you have your savings account and you have your checking account, you want to make sure that these are all buckets. You want to figure out what are my monthly expenses, and you're going to look at your car payment, your insurance, how much do you spend on restaurants, health insurance. And you have to figure out what you spend a month because that's your number that you always want to get to, right? We'll just say it's $2,000 a month. Anybody who's saving money and investing in money, it depends on where your risk tolerance is. For me, I have a high risk tolerance, so I don't have a giant savings. But you take this number times the number of months that you want to hold in your savings account. So let's say it's 3 months. So basically, as soon as I have $6,000 sitting in my savings account, I feel good. I have 3 months. Something happens to me. I can't work for a month or two. I want to go on vacation, whatever it is. Like I have 3 months of savings. Now all of a sudden I have $7,000. Well, that's when it rolls out of this like a bucket. And so your bucket gets full and that $1,000 then goes into your investment fund. Because you said to me, well, how do I know what to spend it on? First thing you want to do is have an investment fund. So you have your savings that you have maybe some people have 12 months of savings. They're like, I'm very conservative. I want to have 12 months of savings. Great. Whatever your number is. So if your number is 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, whatever that number is, as soon as that savings bucket is full, then it overflows into your investment fund. And then you look at that money and you're like, okay, maybe it's $1,000. Maybe I want to put that into some stocks that I know are going to go up. Or maybe it's a nice blue chip stock, meaning it's going to just slowly climb over the years. Or maybe I have a big crypto tip. You might lose that money, right? So you have to figure out what you want to do for those investments. High risk, high return, low risk, low return. And maybe you say, okay, I've saved $50,000. I'm going to call an investment realtor because that's what I do. I'm going to call an investment realtor and I'm going to see if we can find some properties. And me as an investment realtor, I might say, do you want to find one property and put $50,000 down? Or do you want to find two properties and put $25,000 down on each? We have some options when you have a little bit more money. You can also invest in a real estate fund. There's funds out there where you have just micro investments. So you know that you're investing into a real estate fund. Now, real estate, you get to write off your taxes. Right? So when you have a real estate asset, you get to have cash flow because we're going to buy it, right? And we're going to make sure that there's a little cash flow every month. Your tenants are paying down your mortgage. So your mortgage is going down and your equity is going up. That's why I love real estate. My tenants are paying down my mortgage. My equity is rising. I'm getting some money in my pocket and I get to write off expenses, which lowers my adjusted gross income on my taxes. This is why I love real estate. But I also have some investments in stock and crypto because I want some liquid cash, but I don't want it just sitting in my savings account, not making any money. So I throw it into like some safe stocks. So at least it's going up 10%, 12% a year because that's important for me, right? So I'm one of those investors who likes to always have money working for me. You have to figure out what your strategy is and what kind of investor you are in order to know what works for you. Make sense? Okay. So what was your question?
My question was that which stocks to invest in.
You don't even know, right? Like what stocks? Are you a realtor who's been working in the residential market, but you're not quite sure how to break into the investment market? What is a cash on cash return? What is a cap rate? How do I figure out cash flow? I'm Lenore Moore. That's what I do. I'm an investment realtor, and I created a course to teach realtors how to work with investors. What's the best thing about working with investors? Not only do you get to learn from that investor and grow your knowledge base, you also get to share that knowledge base with the investors that you've brought in as clients. And on top of all that, you get to see these properties first. Join me, join our group, and make sure that you're learning how to work with investment properties and being an investment realtor yourself. Come on, let's go. So there's certain stocks that I invest in where it's a fund. And so you can look at the fund. They might be technology stocks in there, finance, goods and services. There's Ray Dalio has a fund that I like. They go a little bit slower. They actually had a really nice growth, but you could take your $1,000 and you could put it into that stock. But my question to you was, okay, so let's say you take your $1,000 and you put it into that stock and it goes down. What are you going to do?
Keep holding.
Keep holding it. So the thing about being a real estate investor is you have to understand what you're investing in. Never sell when something is down. When the crypto market is down, it's going to go back up. When the stock market is down, it's going to go back up. When real estate is down, because I have a lot of people who say to me, "Oh, real estate, that's so, you can lose money in real estate." The only way you can lose money in real estate is if you sell when the market goes down. So I'm going to show you, this is how our economy works. This is how real estate works. If we have we're looking at a time frame. Let's say 50 years. It's a long time. So we have 50 years right here, right? So we have these years in between. Now, when I say stock market, I'm not talking about a company that's brand new, comes on the market and might not make it, right? That's a high risk stock. You might be investing in a company that's just doing an IPO, initial public offering. And you're like, okay, I love this company. I'm going to take a little piece of my money, not a big chunk of my money, and invest it into this company because they might not make it. But if they make it, my stock could go 10 times, right? You could go super big. When I say the stock market, I'm going to say a stock like Microsoft, Apple. These stocks, historically, what do they do over time? So if you look at some of these stocks, sometimes they go up, sometimes they dip down. Sometimes they go up, sometimes they dip down. Sometimes they go up, sometimes they go down for a while. Sometimes they go up, sometimes they go down, right? And over 50 years, if you look at all those stocks, they dip, and then you draw a line through it. What's it doing? It's going up. So we know if you invested in a company that's been around for 50 years ago and has a consistent curve, you're pretty certain that if you invest in that stock, do you sell it here? No. What do you do here?
Keep hold or buy or keep
buy, right? You invest more money, you buy more money here. This can be used for anything. Real estate's the same way. We've had markets where it went up and went crazy, and then we had markets when it dipped. And it's the same thing. As an investor, you just have to remember, you just hold. Just wait, because investing is the long game. Everything's a long game because we know historically it always goes up. So if you have properties, let's say you bought 30 properties over these 50 years, and by the end of it, those 30 properties, let's say you have 30 properties, and they're over here on this side. Maybe you paid an average of $200,000 per property, depending on where you're at in the United States. What is that? $6 million, right? So you're at $6 million here. Over the years, this is how much you spent on them. But at the end, where's it going to be? Yeah, it could be 15 million. If you hold it, those numbers always go up. That's why when it comes to investing, no matter what you're investing in, you just have to hold on and talk to people make smart investments. Like, what house do you know, or what, neighborhood is no longer existing because it just got wiped out, right? Like that neighborhood got wiped out. Do we have progression, right? What happened when that big developer comes in and says to everybody on that block, they're like, we're going to make a new development here. Do they like, get out of your house, or do they hand you cash? Right? Even when we have a whole neighborhood get redeveloped, you're going to make money because that developer wants to buy you out and build new big houses or new big condos or new big apartment buildings. So if you hold on to your real estate, it's always going to go up, and there's always going to be some sort of value in it as long as you take care of it. That's something else that's super important. You got to take care of your real estate. Make sure you're doing your maintenance. Take care of your roof, always take care of water issues. So as long as you take care of your investment, it's always going to go up. And that's why we look at investment for the long game. Make sense? We looked at our buckets, right? We looked at our savings bucket. We save as much as we feel comfortable with. It pours out into our investment bucket. And then we look at different investments and we make sure that we hold those investments, buy when it's low, right? Hold up. Maybe we sell when it's high, right? And take that profit. Now we have profit and we invest it into other assets that might be lower right then. And yet that's why you're constantly looking at the market and you're constantly analyzing where the market is so that you can make informed choices and just keep studying, keep understanding. I only invest in things that I understand. If I don't understand it, I don't invest in it, or I get somebody who's an expert. Like if you are working with a realtor who's an expert in the investment area, they're going to help you do that investment. Makes sense? I can get a stockbroker, right? I can get a financial advisor. They're going to help me invest my money. But what I like to do is to hold on to that and figure out what that is and do my own research and get educated so that I can make these informed decisions. All right. Great to talk to everybody. Make sure you sign up below. Keep staying connected to us. You can always reach out to me, see if we can find an investment realtor in your area, because that's really who you want to be aligning with. You can have these conversations with them and make sure that they have you on the right track because they've got your back. Let's go.